It started as laughter, the kind that fills a room when people are celebrating love, friendship, and family. But hidden beneath that laughter was a line that no one expected to hear. A joke so sharp, so pointed, that even years later it would echo beyond the walls of that royal wedding. The joke wasn't about politics or money or rivalry. It was about a prince, one already shadowed by scandal. And the man who told it wasn't a comedian or a journalist. He was a rugby star, a close friend of the royal family, a man trusted to stand among them on one of their happiest days. James Haskell. What he said that day, and later repeated publicly, pulled Prince Andrew's name right back into the conversation the monarchy has been trying to escape for years. Before we dive in, there's something I need to share with you. Over the past few days, thousands have watched these stories unfold, but most haven't subscribed. If you're one of them, I invite you now to join us. Subscribe to Crownverse so you never miss the next chapter in this unfolding royal history. Now, let's go back to where it began. It was 2011, the wedding of Zara Phillips, the only daughter of Princess Anne and former rugby player Mike Tyndall. A day of celebration, family, and unity. The ceremony was grand, but relaxed, less formal than William and Catherine's earlier that same year. Friends from the world of sport mingled with members of the royal family. The music played, the speeches flowed, and somewhere in that atmosphere of joy, one of the guests, James Haskell, Mike's former rugby teammate, decided to make what he would later describe as an inappropriate joke. Speaking years later to The Times, Haskell recalled what he said. "I told a joke about when I was at Mike's wedding. Prince Andrew was sweating up a storm on the dance floor, but then he realized everyone was over 18, so he left." He laughed when he told the story. He admitted it was inappropriate, but funny. But for many listening now, and perhaps for some who were in that room back then, the joke wasn't just inappropriate, it was explosive. The joke directly referenced the now infamous 2019 BBC Newsnight interview where Prince Andrew claimed he was unable to sweat. That statement, made while defending himself against allegations brought by Virginia Giuffre, became one of the most infamous lines in modern royal history. To many, it symbolized denial, arrogance, and detachment from reality. To others, it was simply bizarre, the kind of detail no one could forget. And now that same detail was being turned into a punchline at a royal wedding. It's unclear how the room reacted when Haskell made the remark. There's no record of gasps, no official transcript of who laughed or who frowned. What we do know is that Haskell later told the story himself, proudly and with no sign of regret. And that decision to repeat the joke publicly years later reignited conversation around the one royal name the family most wishes people would stop talking about: Prince Andrew. A man once called the Playboy Prince, a royal whose charm once made headlines for all the right reasons, military service, confidence, charisma, but who now lives in exile from public duty, stripped of titles and trust. Andrew's fall from grace has been one of the most public and painful collapses in royal history. From his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, to his multi-million-pound settlement with accuser Virginia Giuffre, to the disastrous interview where he appeared emotionless and unrepentant, every detail has been dissected, analyzed, and remembered. So when Haskell made his sweating joke, he wasn't just poking fun at a strange quote. He was referencing one of the darkest, most humiliating moments of modern royal history. The idea that it happened at a royal wedding, surrounded by members of the family, makes it even more striking. Because in that setting, humor becomes something else entirely. A joke like that, told among friends, might be shrugged off, but told in royal company, it becomes a mirror, reflecting how even those close to the family see the cracks in the royal image. Was Haskell mocking Andrew, or was he simply making light of an uncomfortable truth? Was it rebellion, or just bad taste? He didn't say, but his willingness to share the story publicly shows that in his mind it wasn't unforgivable. It was just funny. Still, in the context of where the royal family stands today, that kind of humor carries weight. Because the truth is, the monarchy has spent years trying to draw a curtain over Andrew's scandals. His military titles are gone. His public role has been erased. His appearance at royal events is limited and carefully managed. He remains a prince by blood, but not in function. Reports suggest that even within the family, his presence has become a source of tension. Royal correspondents have noted that Prince William in particular has taken a firm stance against his uncle's return to public life. According to several outlets, William played a key role in the decision for Andrew to surrender his Duke of York title, reportedly telling close advisors that the issue would one day land on his desk. He is said to have been unsatisfied with the outcome, viewing the measures taken so far as too lenient. Some reports claim that William intends to take a more ruthless approach towards his uncle in the future, possibly even moving to bar Andrew from his eventual coronation. These reports remain unverified, but the tone from within the palace is clear. Andrew is no longer part of the institution's public face. And yet, jokes about him still circulate. His name still makes headlines. His story continues to haunt the family, not because they talk about it, but because the world won't stop. Even now, Andrew lives at the Royal Lodge in Windsor, a 30-bedroom estate that symbolizes both his wealth and his isolation. He keeps a low profile, rarely photographed, rarely heard from, but the damage is permanent. The sweating joke itself might seem small in comparison to the rest of Andrew's controversies, but it taps directly into the collective memory of everything that's come before.
It brings back the interview, that surreal, uncomfortable exchange where he denied wrongdoing but showed no empathy for Epstein's victims. It reminds the public of his insistence that he couldn't have met Virginia Giuffre because he was at Pizza Express in Woking that night, a line that instantly became a meme. And it revives the absurd claim that he couldn't have been sweating because of a medical condition he said was caused by an adrenaline overload during the Falklands War. That moment, strange, defensive, and tone-deaf, has become part of royal folklore. The idea that it was now being retold as a joke at a royal wedding suggests that even within elite circles, Andrew's reputation has become a punchline. For the monarchy, that's a nightmare. Royal image depends on respect, on the belief that those who wear crowns and titles are above the ordinary messiness of scandal. But once laughter enters the picture, that illusion cracks. A joke like Haskell's doesn't just humiliate Andrew, it weakens the family's authority, showing that even those closest to them can't resist turning shame into humor. Still, it's also human, and that's what makes this story so complex. For years, the public has accused the royals of being cold, distant, untouchable. But moments like these, awkward, inappropriate, real, reveal that they live with embarrassment just like anyone else. The difference is that when they laugh, the world hears it. It's unclear whether Zara or Mike Tyndall ever responded to Haskell's remark, either privately or publicly. There's no record of Andrew himself ever addressing it, and given his silence in recent years, it's unlikely he ever will. But it does raise a question about how humor functions inside royal circles. Does it serve as a coping mechanism, a way to diffuse tension, or is it a subtle form of rebellion, a way for insiders to express truths they can't say outright. Haskell's joke may have been inappropriate, but it was also revealing. It showed that even among the royals and their friends, Andrew's story isn't buried. It lingers, half whispered, half laughed at, a ghost in every royal room. And as long as that's true, Andrew can never fully disappear. For King Charles and Prince William, that's a major problem. They've worked tirelessly to reshape the monarchy's public image, a balance between tradition and modernity, transparency and restraint. But scandals like Andrew's are heavy shadows, impossible to erase. Every time his name is mentioned, every time his past resurfaces, it reminds the world of everything the monarchy wishes it could forget. And now, with new attention drawn by the upcoming release of Virginia Giuffre's posthumous memoirs, the story has taken another tragic and haunting turn. Giuffre, who had accused Andrew of sexual assault, an accusation he always denied, died earlier this year. Her book reportedly details the trauma she experienced and her complex interactions with both Epstein and powerful figures surrounding him. Its release has once again renewed scrutiny of Andrew's role and his long-denied connection to Epstein's crimes. Andrew's lawyers continue to maintain his innocence. He has consistently denied all allegations and has stated through representatives that he regrets his association with Epstein, but not his intent to do good by connecting with him in the first place, a justification that has never resonated well with the public. When the settlement was reached in 2022, it was meant to bring closure, but it didn't. It only raised more questions. How much did he pay? What exactly did it imply? And why, if he was innocent, did he agree to settle at all? Those questions remain unanswered, and every time a joke, a headline, or a whisper emerges, they return to the surface. In that light, James Haskell's inappropriate joke is more than just a moment of bad humor. It's a symbol of how fragile royal reputations have become. What used to be whispered behind palace doors is now shouted across the internet. What was once a scandal fades into comedy, not because people forgive it, but because they've grown numb to it. And yet, the monarchy can't afford to laugh, not when the world is still questioning its relevance, its privilege, and its morality. For Prince William especially, this represents the legacy he will inherit, one that includes not just the crown, but the consequences of every royal misstep before him. He knows that when his time comes, the ghosts of his family's past, Andrew included, will still be there. And perhaps that's why Haskell's joke matters, not because it caused new scandal, but because it reminded everyone of the one that never truly ended. Prince Andrew's story isn't over. It has no neat conclusion, no redemption arc. It exists in the uneasy space between denial and disgrace, between silence and shame. And as long as people are still making jokes about him, his name will never truly fade from the public's mind. Even laughter can be a form of punishment, and sometimes that's the most lasting kind.